And if there isn't a lot of reciprocity, it seems that we are using another country as a playground and not making the experience mutually beneficial. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's Unpack That.
Now you know we gotta unpack that, right?
My name is Sojourner, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the social worker and travel educator behind the platform Sojourneys and the host for this travel education series. And today we are talking all about international exchange programs. So we'll be breaking down different categories of international exchange programs, how international exchange programs reveal and reinforce the concepts of power, privilege, and identity. And if you are someone who wants to pursue an international exchange program, I'm gonna offer you some tips on how to do that and how to prepare right now. International exchange programs are cross-cultural learning opportunities for people, both students and non-students, to go abroad, whether that's to live, study, or work. These are opportunities to collaborate with others of different cultures and countries to promote more new ideas and enhance mutual understanding. And there are many types of programs you can choose from. Most popular is study abroad. You have people who study abroad in college, both undergrad and grad school, go through programs such as Council of International Education and Exchange, also known as CIEE, AIFS, or IES, all the acronyms. Then you have the second popular type of international exchange programs, which are teaching English abroad programs. Some of the popular programs are Fulbright Japanese Exchange and Training Program, otherwise known as JET, the Auxiliares de Conversación in Spain, or the French English Teaching Assistant Program in France. There is no shortage of teaching English abroad programs. However, that is not the only way you are able to work abroad and do these international exchange programs if you don't want to teach English and you aren't a student. There are other work abroad programs that are similar, but they apply to people of different professional educational backgrounds. These include the Loose Scholars Program based out of Asia, and you can apply for that program if you're interested in business, education, art, sciences, whatever your field may be. If you are interested in global health and international development work, you can look at Global Health Corps, which has positions both in the US and parts of Africa. Or if you're into more research, you can look at opportunities such as the German Chancellor Fellowship that places professionals in their career path in various cities around Germany. You can also consider getting your master's degree abroad. Some international exchange programs that are also fellowship programs, that fellowship includes a master's degree. Now these are very competitive, but that doesn't mean you should count yourself out. Consider the Mitchell Scholarship in Ireland, or even the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, where you can travel to different universities around Europe. But if you're not yet at the teach English abroad path, or you're kind of past the study abroad path, you can choose interning abroad. And organizations that promote those types of opportunities are Go Abroad, Go Overseas. You can even find some of these internships and other fellowships and work abroad opportunities on websites such as LinkedIn and Idealist. As someone who is an alum of both studying abroad in undergrad, studying abroad in grad school, being a Fulbright Spain alum, I am a big supporter of international exchange programs because they make us question what we think we know about the world. They expand our understanding of what it means to be in community with people, especially as an outsider, and what it means to build up that relationship, that rapport, that trust with people who may not be privy to who you are and you may not be privy to who they are, but you have this common goal, which is the work that you're doing in that country, and you are able to learn from each other because we do not know everything when we go abroad. And it's a great opportunity if you are someone who loves languages and is really interested in learning more about a country and culture and traditions. However, there is a lot of power and privilege that goes into these kinds of international exchange programs that is not as widely talked about. For example, a lot of the programs that I mentioned are from the US perspective and are for US students to go abroad, and that in itself has so much power and privilege. With teaching English abroad programs, you'll find that the basic requirement for most of them, all you have to do is be a native speaker of English. And as someone who is a native speaker who has taught English abroad, I promise you, just because we can speak it does not mean that we can teach it. Another criticism of international exchange programs is that they can be very one-sided. A lot of the times it's about the person who normally comes from a higher socioeconomic status that goes abroad in the first place and then makes the entire experience about them. Yes, they are contributing financially to the economy through what they buy and being there. However, it should also be about the community and it should have more reciprocity. Also, if you look at who is qualified for a lot of these programs, they require a citizenship normally from a person that lives or is from the global north, aka a Western country. They also require an English language certificate or evaluation, so it shows a lot of language privilege. And all of these things are layered and complex, but they all talk about who has access to these programs and who doesn't, and even who benefits the most from them, the person who is going abroad or the community. So, what are some things that we can be thinking about now that will impact our experience in these international exchange programs and opportunities? Understand that you may learn about some privileges that you were not fully conscious of when you were in your home country. So as a Black woman in the United States, I'm considered a double minority. But when I go abroad, my US American privilege, which is linked to my passport privilege and also my language privilege, impacts my travel experience, especially in international exchange programs, differently, because those are all things that people who lead these programs are looking for in candidates. And those are extra layers of identities to be thinking about when we do go abroad.
And understanding how these privileges impact power dynamics when we go to other countries.
Know your why outside of I just want to travel the world. That is not something you put on an international exchange program application. Yes, it is part of the perks. We know it's part of the process, but make sure you are genuine and authentic in your reasoning for going abroad. Live in the moment, be a part of the culture. Make sure to dig deeper and build those connections when you do go. Definitely consider, taking some language classes before we go. It is the least we can do. Get familiar. Again, always do your research. And the last thing is to remember you are capable. I know a lot of these big name programs seem super prestigious and a little intimidating. If your skills align and you know your why and you know how to tell your story, you have a fighting chance. So look at the application requirements, play up those strengths, and trust the process, and that what is meant for you will happen. If you want to know more about international exchange programs, tips on how to apply, or other opportunities to go abroad, and understand how they impact our travel experiences based on our power, privilege, and identity, you can head over to my website, www.sojourneys.com, to learn more. I share tips to help you plan intentionally, so resources that you need to be using, as well as application tips to remind yourself you are capable of applying to these programs. I also have advice on how to travel responsibly when you're in these programs, unpacking other privileges and topics in travel and international education that we should be aware of as we take on these opportunities. And of course, I remind you that you can live vicariously through yourself. Leave any comments or reflections below about international exchange programs, and I will see you all at my next video. Bye. Stay curious.